and we can say welcome to everyone to our Friday Kipaipai Happy Hour. And it was kind of weird not doing it last week, but it's right. We didn't do it last week. Yeah.
Right. Right.
But this is exciting to pick it up again. And today we have Mellisa Reischman and also Marcia, you're doing it too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Marcia Pasqua. And on that note, I got to see Marcia's piece today at Kahilu as the installation is going. And so what I think we're going to do is next Friday, in lieu of having a presentation, we're going to do an artist talk for all the artists that are in the show. So we'll have kind of a live feed going around the exhibition, and then we'll get to ask questions to all the artists that are participating. So for all of you, spread the word for the other fellows who are in the Kahilu show. Let them know that's what we're doing next Friday. I will also send them an email, but it helps to have your peers kind of remind you. And given that, let's go ahead and get started. Catherine, who's starting tonight?
And so we're going to start out with Marcia.
With Marcia. Welcome, Marcia.
Hi, everyone. Okay.
There she is.
All right. So should I hit my screen saver?
Yeah. Can you share screen?
Yeah,
now?
share screen.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
And if everyone will mute themselves, it'll be a little bit easier. I'll mute myself too here.
Okay. Should I get started?
Yeah, get started. And can you go up to where you are showing just the PowerPoint screen?
I'm sorry, what did you mean? What did you say?
Go up to where just your PowerPoint screen is showing rather than the slides on the left.
Oh, okay. Is there something I should hit?
You can hit slideshow. You see that just below the red line?
And start from the beginning.
Oh, there it is. Great. Thank you. Okay. So hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to start off with one of my whys, and that's because I was born and raised in southern Louisiana in a small town somewhere between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And that being the case, I had traditional art training. I never saw abstract painting until I went off to college. I was a painting and drawing major, and everything I did was realistic up till about 10 years ago. And so what I'd like to show you is my work. Okay, so doing realism has its own set of parameters for work, and I was getting tired of it, and I wanted to just play, so I started working with abstraction. I'm a printmaker, and this is a monoprint. And what I did to make this monoprint, I had no background, by the way, in printmaking. I had learned everything about painting from school, and I just wanted to do something for myself. And so what I did for this monoprint was I put a color of ink on a plexiglass plate, and then I cut out pieces of paper and dropped the paper on it and sent it through the press, and everywhere the paper was masked out. So when I started off, the pieces of white that you see, those are pieces that throughout the process had paper over them. So I found that to be really fun and exciting. And so I started playing around a little more with that. This is another monoprint done in a similar way, except that instead of putting the paper on, I would put a color on the plate and remove where I didn't want the color. It was pretty time consuming, but I was having a good time. And what I learned was that printmakers have something called ghost prints. And so this is the ghost of my print. And we use these a lot in printmaking. So that was another great thing about doing this art. And so this one, I started using tape. So I would tape off an area and I would ink the plate. I'd take the tape off and I'd send it through the press, and it's just layers and layers of tape. Again, usually I do these in groups of 4 or 5 so I can work with the ghost prints. And so this is the ghost print of both of these pieces.
Sorry, can you explain to me really quick, what is a ghost print?
A ghost print, the first time it goes to the press, it's got all the ink that you put on, and that comes off on the paper. And so whatever is left on the plate, then I put that on a separate piece of paper.
Ah, okay, thank you.
So that's the ghost. And so this one has ghosts from both of these. As you can see, it's got a different texture and a lot lighter. Okay. Along my way with working with abstraction, and two things came that really influenced me. One was that I saw an exhibit by Sol LeWitt, and I was fascinated by how he would take something and repeat it over and over and over again. So that kind of went into my mind. And the other thing is I went back home to New Orleans and started really looking at their stained glass windows at nighttime. And I started thinking about how could I get that kind of an effect. And so this started that, that's how this whole series started. So this is just basically taped off and then white ink on black paper, okay? And then this is the resulting piece. Okay. Most of these, a lot of these are long and thin like this, and because it's really hard to see the detail, I've turned them sideways. A lot of people actually hang them sideways, so I'll show you. So this is how this looks. I kept going on with this path. I didn't always use black, obviously, with this one. But this is a ghost that came with those two pieces. Okay, and so for this, you can see the difference. The one on my right is the full-on ink, and this is a combination of the ghost prints from 3 different prints.
They almost look, those last ones almost look like watercolor or like what's the material I'm thinking of, the kind of chalk. Why I'm help me out here, you guys.
Pastel?
Pastel. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those are fantastic. I love that you've been able to manipulate the ink in that way.
Thank you. So this is still going off of that same grid. You can see that the grid is back there, and with this piece, I went through once and then I turned the paper around and did the ghost print on top of it. So the lighter areas are the ghost print from the first one. And I started adding little bits and pieces of color. Another one from that series. So all of these are a combination of the full-on ink and ghost print. So the things that you see that are very light are probably ghost prints. Okay. Then I started playing around with just basic squares. And once again, getting that effect of light coming out of dark. Another. So you can see these little areas, all of these very, very light areas are parts of the ghost print. Okay. So these are the latest ones that I've done. I took that idea of the long, thin print again. I actually used the same plate.
And Marcia, this is an unusual process, right? Most printmakers don't go back and forth between the main print and a ghost print, right?
Oh, some of us do. It's not an unusual thing.
I don't know why. I don't think I've ever seen this before where they were both used. I love it though.
Yeah.
And you even got a question here, since we're on the subject of that. You're ghost printing the plates of several different master prints on top of each other?
Yes.
So you're doing ghost on ghost?
Some of them are ghost on ghost. This piece is a ghost on the one that came before. All the ghost prints went on this, and then all of the ghost prints from another print went on top of it. So this is strictly a ghost print. Okay. And so this is my plate in case you're interested. This is that grid that you saw with the rectangles. And you can see I put a graph paper behind it to help me line it up. I don't know how well you can see it, but there are little strips that you see. This is all just regular tape. And so I cut the tape and I put in a pattern. And then I ink it up. And I send it through the press.
That's great.
This is a full-on print. And then this one is a ghost, partly of the one that just came before. And what ends up happening when I have all of this ink is that, I mean, all of this tape has got ink on it and I hated wasting the ink. So I started taking the tape, whatever form it was, putting it on a plate and then putting that through the press on paper. With the picture that you're going to see is not the white tape of this, but it is an example. And so this was 3 different times through the press from 3 different pieces. And this again, all of these pieces here were tape, and you can see where the tape had tape over it. That's all I can explain, that you get that kind of a feel. Okay. So those prints take a long time. Most of them, by the time I'm finished, I've been working on them for a year and sometimes 2 years. And as a printmaker, we oftentimes have to do additions. And so I had to come up with another way of using doing what I was doing, but in a different way. So this is something called pourchoir. Pourchoir is a very old printmaking process where they use stencils. And so I would get the idea of what I wanted to do and make stencils. And there are these great brushes, they're called pom-pom brushes that I found from France, and they are wonderful to work with. I'll show you that in a minute. And so there I am working. These are the brushes that I was telling you about. And so this is the piece here that I'm working on. And you can see I'm lifting up the stencil, and that's the end result. And my last piece is another pourchoir. This one was done for the Shangri-La, the Doris Duke Museum. Printmakers did a portfolio over there. So this is called, in the small you can find the infinite. And so the whole point of Islamic art, which is the museum is an Islamic art museum, is finding this eternal figure within the work itself. Okay, and that's my work. Any questions?
Do you have any study or kinship to Joseph Albers, who, you know, did the whole extensive homage to a square and following how color changes?
I did a lot of color theory study, and definitely I've read books by him, so yes.
I figured it really shows that color relationship, and you do kind of hang around the square, so I could see how that would make sense to you. They're beautiful works.
Thank you.
And as a printmaker, I grew up as a printmaker, so I'm looking at these going, wow, I maybe need to get that press back.
The work is fantastic, and I'm so glad that you included some process images so that we can visualize how all of that stuff works together, and how the material works, and how the machinery works, and how you organized all of those things.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of this work, and it's interesting because we're looking at all the printmaking, and then the piece that we're showing in the Kahilu show is a little bit different.
But it is a print.
Right. Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. I don't have a picture handy of it right now, but it's a tree. It's quite large. It's in 3 large panels, and it's printed on tarlatan, where the printmakers in the group know what tarlatan is. It's like a gauze type of material that we use with printmaking. And so the tree itself is a tree that's on my great-grandfather's property. My grandparents inherited it and it's an oak tree that's about 150 years old. And I started drawing it and painting it as a child, actually. And it became sort of a metaphor for me for things that were going on in my life. So the piece that's in the show was a response to the family wanting to sell the family property. And so it's on the market, and it's called Requiem. So it's sort of my homage to my, my dear tree.
Oh. Where is that tree? I'm curious.
It's in Gonzales, Louisiana.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And it's an oak?
It's
A
an oak tree.
coastal oak, I would assume.
Live oak.
A live oak. Oh, geez.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Mhm. Andy, should I mention anything about some of the comments, or do you want to do it? Andy?
You're muted, Andy.
Muted. Uh-oh.
Oh, she took the green screen.
Should I?
Hold on.
Oh, thank you.
Ah, that's great.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, Marcia, I love this.
Thank you. Oh, you do trees too, don't you?
I love trees. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting it up, Andy. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
great to see this. This is beautiful. Beautiful. I have a quick question, if I can jump in. Marcia, I wanted to know how you register so many layers with the ghost print and the other prints. You must have a pretty unique way of registration.
Pretty much. Are you a printmaker? I'm not sure who's asking.
Yeah, Jeannie Dunn. I've had printmaking in my life, and I'm not doing it right now, but I know the whole process, and I've taught it. I've taught it.
Okay, so I'm just, for a lot of these, I just did the one where you mark the top and bottom on the middle and set up the registration, just dropping it exactly in the same place. And then lately what I've started to do is use the tab and, you know the tab method?
Right.
The little metal tabs, so you put them in place and it goes, it really is the
You
It's
anchor it,
reliable.
you
It's
anchor it to the
reliable.
base? Do you
It's
anchor the metal tabs with a screw or something?
no, you just tape it down on the plate.
It's for registration, so
Yeah.
they all line up.
I think silk screeners use it a lot, that particular, shoot,
Yeah.
I wish I had a picture to show you.
I'm just familiar with like cardboard strips, taping down cardboards, thick ones, you know, like for a 4-ply mat. Yeah, to do that same thing, I think.
Oops, lost. Let's see. Did I lose you guys?
We're
No,
here.
there you are, okay. I was just looking to see. Okay, so if I go back to my PowerPoint, there's an example because I use the tab method for the
Oh, great.
one that there's a picture of. Should I show that?
Yeah, you have
If
to
you
share your screen again.
Okay. Can you see that? Okay, so over here on the side, you see there's a little white plastic piece, and it fits into, it's got a little round hole, and it fits into the tab, which has got the blue tape holding it down. And so there's one on each side.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
And so this one holds the paper, and then the stencil gets put down on top of that.
Got it. Yeah. Wow. It's so precise. You're so precise. It's amazing. Because this is pretty tight. All of it.
People think I'm crazy. My friends think I'm crazy.
Well, printmakers, we have that
Are
edge,
crazy.
which is
Okay.
what makes us interesting.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you, Marcia. That was super wonderful. I love
Oh,
seeing
thank
your
you.
work, and I love seeing the process.
I
Oh,
have a-
Caroline
Ditto.
trying to
I
talk, but she's
do.
muted.
Awesome.
Do you laser cut your stencils?
No, I bought a cutter. It's called a
Oh,
silhouette. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I used to try to do them by hand, and that was crazy. That was really crazy.
Thank you.
Excuse me, you bought a cutter called a silhouette? What is that?
It's something that people who do crafts buy, and also people, I guess, people who are graffiti artists, and it cuts out the stencils for them. And so it's a plastic stencil, and you feed it in, and it just goes through and cuts it.
You can get them at craft stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
that
writing that down. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're cool.
That's great.
Is that ink that you use, or paint, or with the brushes?
Oh, that is, it's a printmaking ink.
And it's pretty opaque then?
Well, I added white to it, but the bottom layer is pretty much transparent. But when I started lightening, it added the opaqueness, right?
Not to get into Nerdsville here, but I just, as a printmaker, have to ask, what kind of ink do you use?
This one, I just started using this for this process because traditionally, or when I first found out about this technique, they were using ink pads. But they say it's archival, but I didn't trust them to start with. But it comes in colors you can't fix your own. So I started experimenting with different inks, and this is Charbonnel Aqua Wash. So it's an oil-based ink,
Good choice.
but you wash it with soap and water. And those brushes were expensive, so I wasn't about to start using turpentine on them or anything like that. I just wanted soap and water, and I really like the ink a lot. It works very well.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much. And I think we're gonna wrap yours up and go ahead and have Mellisa give her presentation. Thanks,
Great.
Marcia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'll share my screen.
Good idea.
This first section is Burning Bush. It was came about as my response to the Me Too movement, which feels like it was ages ago. But overall, in my work, when I look closely at elements that are found in nature, I often envision that there's something more than what I see with my eyes. And so my work is an ongoing exploration of the forceful movement of light and atmosphere. And I try to connect the internal to the external. And by doing that, I hope that I'm inviting the viewers to contemplate parallel possibilities that are beyond the physical realm. These are all charcoal on paper. Moving forward.
Ooh, slow down.
Okay.
So Mellisa, you're starting with this organic form, or what? How is this coming about?
I have a tendency to sort of work from the center, well, actually work from the edges in. I put the charcoal in, and I have an idea of what I want to do, but as I work, it's very intuitive. So I just kind of allow what wants to come through, and I use an eraser to make those marks. So they're just spontaneous and random. But I do have a definite, there's some shapes that come through, and it's my influence of flowers and nature. I used to do a lot of landscape painting back in the day. And this one, She Has Benediction, as I was doing it, I was a little horrified that to me it looked like a benediction. I don't know what it's called. It's something the Catholic Church uses. So it just kept sticking with me. So I looked for alternate explanations of benediction, which is it's an utterance of good wishes. It's not just a religious artifact or a religious term. And
Right.
the line is from a Patti Smith lyric. I wanted to use a female punk rock, incorporate that spirit and energy. So, because that's kind of how I feel too when I do this.
Well, you're getting some wonderful responses, and just real quickly as we move along, that one of them was Sam, who said how much they were luminous, and I tend to agree with that. They seem almost transparent. Shelley Heffler says, Mellisa, the work is so delicate. Are you using an eraser method? Which you are, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Working backwards, working from dark to light instead of the other way around.
Yeah, it's just something that comes natural to me to just kind of remove the charcoal or paint even sometimes. And this one, I came about and I thought, oh, this reminds me of the Dürer painting of the turf. And I thought, well, this is trying to break free from the earth or old thought habits and float and just illuminate and inspire, hopefully. And I like art history. I think about that sometimes when I'm doing my work, what's influencing me and things that I'm drawn to. And I sometimes just go ahead and explore that and let it happen and let it come out.
Speaking of Patti Smith, Jeannie asked if you listen to her when you work.
So I do. I just real quick story. When I was a teenager, she was just getting popular, and I was discovering her, and I felt like listening to her music and gave me hope that there might be something more for my life than what I'm living and that I haven't seen yet. So it kind of gave me the urge to go look for something and create a life for myself. And this one is, I've been playing around with color lately, and I'm trying to find my voice there. And this palette felt to me like a Dutch still life. And I like the idea of the Vanitas paintings and showing kind of, paying homage to death as a life transition.
Jody is saying that she thinks that the ones that you regarded as relating to death, that they are strong but peaceful at the same time. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. This was a solo show I had a year or so ago. I've been working with portals a lot, like holes, and all that comes through in my work a lot. So it's again, I'm just trying to take people to another realm, and maybe they have a meditative quality. I think that the images are hopeful, they're contemplative and evocative. And they're neither abstract nor representational, and I'm intentionally leaving space for the viewer to bring their own story to it.
Have we scheduled you for a show at Cedar?
No.
We've talked about it though, right?
Robert mentioned.
Okay, yeah, because I'm almost certain that he and I had a conversation about doing a solo at Moa Cedar.
Mm.
I'll remind him that we need to look at the schedule again and talk to you about that.
Some of this one is on Duralar, which is a form, it's like Mylar, it's like a plastic paper, and it just, it behaves differently on there.
Indeed.
It erases really clean until it doesn't. It does have a lifespan.
Yeah. Wow, this is a larger one.
Yes, this 40 by 30 is, that's as large as I've worked in a drawing.
Mellisa, why were the color ones you did so tiny, 5 by 7 inches?
Well, I'm just kind of exploring color and working. There were color studies actually, but I decided that it held as a painting as well, just small. And I probably will take that and work up, but it's just, I need to work small so I can work out color. But I do have plans to go much bigger with that.
Uh-huh. And what kind of paper do you use?
I use Stonehenge.
Oh,
paper.
Stonehenge. Yeah. Yeah, I like Stonehenge. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can tell, it has a deckled edge on the sides, which I really like. And when I frame these, I float them, and kind of, I like to exploit that. And this is kind of how it all started, my light and my obsession with working with light.
Oh, I like that. Wow. It's like the light has weight to it.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. All of them are beautiful.
Yeah.
And this was a fairly large painting that I did after that.
I love that. Oh my God, I want it.
Who's saying that?
Dina.
It was Dina, yeah.
They're gorgeous.
Hmm.
Do you paint really thin on canvas then?
These ones, yeah, they are pretty thin. There's a lot of layers of paint. I've been trying to put it on thicker and get some brush stroke into my work.
Hmm.
Ready? Oops. Sorry.
And that's it.
These are stunning.
Thank you.
I didn't know you I haven't seen this color work.
No, probably not. I haven't shown it too much. I've been putting them black and white because it seems to be, well, it gets into shows. So I stuck with that. But I am a painter first of all. And I started drawing more because I need to work out the image and faster than I could paint it. And a friend of mine said, you know, that this is really good. You know, I got such a positive feedback from people. So I still do it, but they do feed off each other. It is
Really
like,
strong.
back and forth.
Oh no.
Do we have any questions, Catherine?
Yeah, we have some questions and some comments. One of them from Jeannie Dunn is that she's
Is coming back.
considering the possibility that they're very mystical.
Mm-hmm. I get that a lot.
Are you, is that relevant to what you are looking at or what you are striving toward?
Well, I guess it's, I can't say that I'm necessarily striving for it, but that's just who I am. And I think that way. I think about, you know, the things that we don't really see and the energy that's around us, and that I feel it. And I feel like I want to capture that. I think when I years ago when I was really looking closely at Georgia O'Keeffe, I thought, you know, this would be great if she would just push these flowers just one step further, you know, and so I'll do that for her, you know. It's a hard job, but.
That's great. I see that. Absolutely. You do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of fans through Kipaipai. Dina Klein said, can you please tell us your website? I have to go look at more.
Okay, it's MellisaReischman.com.
There you go.
Easy.
Voislav says to everyone, saying this to everyone, but specifically to you, Melissa, is that he thinks your work is beautiful. And Jeannie Dunn says there's a mystical aspect for sure. Samuel Richardson is saying there is a sense of movement in the light, in the paintings. So I'm sure you can see these, but you know, you're getting all kinds of comments about the ethereal. Dina even says they're also a bit haunting.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcia, who preceded you, is telling you that she uses Stonehenge as well, and she loves actually the black.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you ever shown your work in the context of light and space?
No, I haven't.
I think
I thought about that, but I thought I don't know if I qualify.
I don't think there's like a rule about it, but I believe that your work definitely addresses the kind of philosophies that are being utilized in the artists that work in that genre. I really, I mean, other than removing the artist's hand out of it, it's you should show with somebody like Ruth Pastine, who makes paintings that are very physical and very much the artist's hand is there, but it's not obvious. And I think your work has kind of that same ethereal, experiential element to it, other than the artist's hand not being removed. But I think they're beautiful. I think they would work really well in the context of showing with other light and space artists.
Yeah, I think the light in the middle of a dark field is compelling. It's undeniably sensitive to the idea of light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always been drawn to light in any composition, photography, and painting, and that's kind of the foundation really of my work. And for years I say, well, I am using light as my subject matter, and it's still there. I've just tried to expand on that.
Well, and there's a lot you could expand in 1,000 ways. You know, past pushing your materials to, you know, going into actual light.
Well, any other questions? No other questions? Okay. Well, I guess we can wrap it up tonight. And hopefully everyone tunes in next Friday. We're gonna, especially those of you folks who are in the Kahilu show, can't wait to have like a artist talk about what that looks like. We'll do it similar to the Collaborate and Create artist talk that we had here a couple months ago. So hopefully we'll see you guys all next Friday. Same time, same bat channel, same bat place.
It sounds good. It's like Hawaii rules this time. This is exciting. Yay.
Good. All right, you guys. Take
Love
care.
you all there.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, participants.